Jai Hind, everyone. Today is the 16th of December, and today we celebrate Vijay Diwas because it was on this day in 1971 that the agreement to surrender by the Pakistanis in Bangladesh took place, and the official signing of the document actually happened on this day in 1971. Okay, and I have just come back from a visit to the Northeast, where every year they celebrate Vijay Diwas, and this time the Air Force celebrated it at Air Force Station Mohanbari, and it was here that they kind of depicted what all happened in the war, and a lot of aircraft flypast took place. There was a talk by many veterans who had participated in the war. In fact, those are the veterans who had already earlier spoken to me when I was writing about the 1971 war. And a few things that I would like to tell you is that how did the war start? If I tell you about that, it was Pakistani pilots who had defected into India, flying Indian Air Force aircraft, went and bombed their own country on the midnight of 3rd of December 1971. This is a fact that a lot of people do not know, that Pakistani pilots flew the Indian Indian Air Force aircraft, and which went and fired the first shots into Bangladesh, after which the recorded speech of Mrs. Indira Gandhi was played on radio, and that is how the war was formally declared, and the 13-day war. And why was it for 13 days? It could have been much longer. Uh, what saved the war from progressing into longer periods is that our helicopter fleet did a fantastic job by, heli dropping a lot of soldiers across rivers, and that is why the army could actually tighten the noose around Dhaka, and that's how the Pakistanis capitulated much earlier than they would have otherwise. In fact, there was this airdrop at Tangel. It was all kinds of aircraft were used, and about 1,000 paratroopers. One of the biggest paradrops after the Second World War took place in a place west of Dhaka called Tangel, and that is where 1,000 people landed inside Bangladesh, that time East Pakistan territory, and they also started their advance from the west into Dhaka, and from the east, the Meghna helilift, that it is called, they were carried out by Mi-4 helicopters, in which troops of the 4-5 Gurkha rifles, they were picked up. About 4,500 plus troops were taken by helicopter and dropped across this river along with the entire war fighting machinery. And so they crossed, and then they encircled Dhaka from both sides, and the Pakistanis were trapped. And that's how the war came to a faster end. And the last part, of course, is the firing of the rockets at the governor's house in Dhaka. That was done by our fighters, the MiG-21, and three of the MiG-21s had gone to fire at the. There was a meeting taking place inside the governor's house, and it was decided that the shot should be fired. A warning shot should be fired at the governor's house, so that the surrender takes place faster. And the Indian Air Force achieved this. They went and struck this governor's house with accuracy, and which brought the Pakistani leadership onto its knees. And that's how the surrender document took place on the 16th of December 1971. Two of the biggest heroes of the 1971 victory in the northeast, that is in the eastern Pakistan region, from the Indian side, was General Sagat Singh, one of the most dashing generals that India has seen. And from the Air Force side, it was Group Captain Chandan Singh. They were both amazing personalities, and they were the bold leaders who took some very bold decisions, which which otherwise, if they had not taken those decisions, they could have the war wouldn't have finished as fast as it did. So, incidentally, Group Captain Chandan Singh was in charge of all the fight helicopter and transport operations, taking place in around the eastern part of our country, against East Pakistan. And he's the one who actually planned, along with Sagat Singh, the Meghna heli lift that I spoke about, and also they also planned training of the Bangladeshi pilots who had defected from East Pakistan, rather. They had defected from there, and the kind of training that was carried out on a small Chetak helicopter. They were fighter pilots coming from there who were made to fly the Chetak helicopter, made to learn how to fly the helicopter, and thereafter this helicopter was fitted with guns and rockets, and they were made to fire guns and rockets from a helicopter which is not supposed to be doing this. So this was the first time that they did some jugaad and they fitted the weapons onto the aircraft, and then they taught them how to fire from the helicopter. So this is the first time that a Chetak helicopter was used in an offensive role to kind of hit the East Pakistanis. And this flight, it had three aircraft, basically. It had one Dakota, two Chetak helicopters, and it had one Otter aircraft. So they all transport and helicopter aircraft, and these were the aircraft which became the seeds of Bangladesh Air Force. It is said that for the first mission, when this helicopter went into Bangladesh to do a recce, they were fired upon. In fact, Sagat Singh and Chandan Singh were sitting in the same helicopter, and they came back with 38 bullet hits, 38 of them. And the co-pilot got injured in his knee, and Sagat Singh had a injury in his shoulder, I'm told. And they came back, and this helicopter continued to fly through the war, uh, and it was presented to Bangladesh on the 16th of December, 1971. So, very interesting stories about this war, and you can look for them in so many books that are available. And so, there's small, small things that made things happen during that time. Okay, then you know what are the effects of these Tangel airdrop and the Meghna heli lift and what the helicopters did? What happened was that the Pakistani defenses were bypassed completely. Their rare areas of the Pakistanis were suddenly threatened, and they were trying to regroup around Dhaka so that they could stop the Indian advance, but they could not do so. And it is called, all historians call it the race to Dhaka. The race to Dhaka became unstoppable. So, what do you think would be the three major lessons that one can draw from these stories that we are telling you? One is, most importantly, that air mobility can change the fate of a campaign. Air mobility, if you have aeroplanes, if you have the speed to go across into the enemy, it can change the entire story of any war, right? And secondly, like I told you, Sagat Singh, Chandan Singh, those kind of commanders, they are very bold commanders. Then bold commanders always matter in war. And last but not the least, we talk about jointmanship. So this was the war in which the army, navy, and the air force came together, held hands together, and fought this war together as one joint team. So jointmanship is not a slogan; it is a combat multiplier. Just remember this, and so that's all that I have to say. Thank you very much.